Hey, what's up? I'm a diagnosed narcissist, but before I start talking, keep in mind that I am not a licensed professional. So, with all that being said, I want to discuss self awareness in terms of understanding and recognizing that I am a narcissist and I am somebody with narcissistic personality disorder. Now, the moment you hear that, some people might already, start raising like an eyebrow and think to themselves, oh, a narcissist would never admit to being a narcissist, which I think is kind of dumb and stupid because, well, it's not like I don't entirely understand where a lot of this is coming from, but I guess I just wanted to break down like my perspective in terms of saying that yes, I do know I'm a narcissist. Yes, as somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, you can recognize that you are, in fact, a narcissist. So, why is it that a lot of people think that a narcissist, for example, would never admit to being a narcissist? Well, I guess it just comes with the whole thing about how, oh my gosh, narcissists are so full of themselves. Well, if you were to actually break it down, no, none of us are actually full of ourselves. We're trying to be full of ourselves. We're compensating so hard in order to feel like we are somebody. And a lot of times we lean towards superiority. And that is why a lot of us have narcissistic personality disorder. So, a lot of these like narcissistic abuse kind of content, like, sorta makes me like laugh because at the very least, I know I'm not all there. I don't really know who I am. But even in a lot of these things, a lot of the people don't even talk much about consistency. Because on the one hand, they'll say that, oh, narcissists don't know how to take accountability and whatnot. But yet they'll also do this thing where, oh, we need more self awareness. We need to know who we are. So I think it's fairly obvious that they're just trying to paint an image of an incredibly, toxic sort of person. And don't get me wrong, it's not like as a narcissist I'm saying that we're never toxic or that we can't be toxic, but at the very least, you know the audience that they're catering towards. Like when you watch a lot of like narcissistic abuse content, it's clearly just for people that were in horrible relationships. And I just want to say that whether or not you were in a toxic sort of relationship, your quote unquote abuser might not even necessarily be a narcissist because non narcissists can be abusers and so can narcissists. So, yeah, I think that's good to get out of the way. So I find it kind of interesting that in a lot of narcissistic abuse content, it centers around the fact that it's narcissistic abuse specifically. When in actuality, I've seen a lot of these kind of videos, and I think if you were to remove narcissist in any of them, honestly, a lot of it would still stand. And here's something to keep in mind. I think in general, it's not actually necessarily just narcissistic abuse, quote unquote. I imagine it would just be cluster B stigma in general. Because if you were to hypothetically make videos about, oh, healing from toxic relationships, coming out from like toxic relationships and stuff, but there wasn't any mention about being a narcissist or narcissism in particular in terms of the people that were, the perpetrators of these quote unquote abusive relationships, I can imagine a lot of the comments would be saying things like, oh, my sociopathic ex, my psychopathic ex, my narcissistic ex, but oh, because it's specifically labeled narcissistic abuse, anybody that you had a difficult relationship with must be an association of narcissistic personality disorder, which is, just super funny when you think about it. I made a video some time ago called Is a Narcissist Always Manipulating You? And I was honest in saying that yes, I think me personally, yes, I am constantly always manipulating people, but not necessarily in this like horrible, awful way that, let's say, perhaps the narcissistic abuse content always wants to frame. I won't go too much into that because you can just watch that video if you want, but I just wanted to say that yes, for example, I am aware of those things. I know that it does separate me from other people in regards to, I guess, genuinely not knowing how to react a lot of the times. And I think I'll even make a separate video trying to clarify that a bit more. But honestly, I just wanted to say that I don't necessarily think that makes me too different from other people. I mean, maybe just a tad bit more, because I think the only difference between me and regular people is that I pay attention to it more. because I'm constantly, thinking about expectations and what I have a right to, or what I, have the, let's say, like, ability to, like, attain, quote unquote. And I think everybody does this to a certain degree, but just because so many people are, quote unquote, like, normal, they don't have to think about this as much. They don't have to, quote unquote, like, understand, I guess, where in the programming you have to exactly fit at, like, every single second. Because, like, what I'm saying, that more, a lot of people are normal, so they just normally coordinate with each other. But I have to take a few more steps to process, okay, what am I supposed to actually make happen, and to what degree, to what, all those kinds of things, basically. So it is super funny to me when people look at us as if, like, let's say we're these demonic entities or something, as if, like, they've figured moral philosophy out, even though that's a very complicated thing in and of itself. So also, this is a real diagnosis that gets given to people, and people that are given this diagnosis are, given help on how to manage it. So yeah, it's actually not just a bunch of armchair psychology.